Hi Bafethu, I'm back again with another video Bafethu, another story Bafethu. There's a story here written by Sihle Mlambo Bafethu. This past week Bafethu has been happening in politics, especially in MK party, it's been happening Bafethu. Some are happy, some are sad, some have empathy for the guy. So the story goes, MK party redeployed or reconning. Oh Floyd, it was always going to end in tears. Hey, my daughter. It was going always end in tears. Some people were waiting for Floyd's downfall, but some people are not saying it's a downfall, but they say it's a strategic move. You know, it's the strategic move. The guy is in parliament now. He's going to challenge the EFF and everyone else there in parliament because he's smart by anyway. So the article goes, it was only a matter of time until the tide turned against violent. It was only a matter of time until the tide turned violently against Floyd Shivambu in the Mkhonto Wesizwe party. The official stance from the MK party is that Shivambu violated the MK party constitution. Ironically, a document where he is credited for penning. So they used his own weapon against him. However, his tumultuous relationship with Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, the sweetheart daughter of former President Jacob Zuma and who is the current president of the MK party, cannot be ignored. Of course, Zuma Sambudla publicly admonished Shivambu with expletives, describing him as the worst thing that has happened to the MK party. She later reluctantly apologized only after being publicly laced by her dad. She was forced to apologize. But since that day, the daggers have been out for Shivambu. What followed despite the apology were attacks aimed at SG from MK party youth leaders and factions seen as sympathetic to Dudu, as she affectionately known. Speaking to Newsroom Africa, Dr. M.K. Zwagala, a political brand analyst, remarked that if indeed Shivambu had contravened the party constitution, why was he being redeployed instead of being made to apologize and ultimately facing a disciplinary? So people are saying this is a smoke screen. This is a smoke screen. There's more to it than what they're explaining to the people. Zwagala believed that there is much more beyond the Bushiri visit, and it is difficult to disagree with this analysis. Of course, the official stance is that the fired Secretary General violated the party's constitution, specifically concerning Section 3J, which states, undertaking internal trips and participating in activities and programs that are opposed to the agenda of the MK party or allied party. MK party's chairperson Nathi Nhleko said this referred to Shivambu's Bushiri visit in Malawi during the Easter weekend, where Shivambu was seen openly rubbing shoulders with the fugitive pastor Shepherd Bushiri, even describing the fugitive as a pan-Africanist with a vision and community impact, despite him being accused of raping young girls in South Africa. So Bushiri was accused of such cases in Africa. I haven't followed that. I thought it was money laundering and fraud, something. That even the raping, come on. And then someone in the government allowed that guy to go out of the country, and then guys would still keep on voting for these people, who are putting our lives at danger. None need danger to yourselves. One of the really Floyd, for one, applauded for his academic stature, clarity, as a known Marxist scholar. Why would you wish to associate with such thuggery? Something tells me that Jacob Zuma knew about this thing. Just that he fires Floyd because of the pressure from his own party members, people are surrounding Jacob Zuma, and the civil society those that they mentioned. But I think Jacob Zuma knew about this trip. Floyd wasn't lying when he said that. What followed was high-profile public lashing from no less than the Justice Minister Maboko Kupai, giving Shivambu's detectors internally fuel to remove him for visiting his brother Bushiri. After lengthy discussions and considerably inputs from the national official, it was concluded that the action by the Secretary General were found to be against the spirit and the prescripts of the MK Party constitution. Code. Noting that on the 12th March 2025, the Republic of Malawi Chief Resident Magistrate delivered a ruling that granted South Africa's Republic request for the extradition. It is common knowledge that Bishop Shepherd Bushiri and his wife Mary Bushiri skipped bail and are to return to South Africa to stand trial on various charges. Based on the deliberations by the national officials, it was reaffirmed that the trip was not an official sanctioned program of the organization of the president, which therefore goes against the constitution of the party. The MK Party and its leadership has been approached by the members of various sectors of civil society and has taken due to consideration of the gravity of this matter. Due to the serious nature of the matter and implication for the party, its image and values and principles, the president and the national officials were left with no other option but to act swiftly in addressing this matter. Consequently, as a responsible organization accountable to its electorate and the broader society, the national officials have come to a decision to redeploy Commander Floyd as a Secretary General of the party and redeploy him to the National Assembly. Uqoshwa kamnandi, uqoshwa unika 100,000 salary with benefits. We believe that his redeployment will strengthen the MK Party caucus and official opposition, as Commander Shivambu carries a wealth of experience as a former member of parliament, on behalf of the MK Party leadership. Under Zuma's leadership of the MK Party, there has been one consistent theme: instability. Someone said that. The position of a Secretary General appears to be a poisoned challenge, with those adorned the title of SG barely lasting in the job. Floyd was the 4th one. The other guy will be the 5th one. We don't know the guy yet. Shivambu has been the longest serving SG thus far in that revolving door, but the mistake he made was to fail to read the room. Once he publicly clashed with Dudu, there was only ever going to be one winner, and that was never going to be the former leader of the EFF ever. People have been saying, Abu Komala or Abu Malema have been saying that Jacob Zuma and her daughter are inseparable, which is very recommended, guys. It's recommended, but our African fathers are running away from their kids and stuff, but Jacob Zuma loves his kids, and you want to blame him. Abu Floyd should open their own political parties. If you have a problem with that, open your own political party and leave Jacob Zuma with his kids. When Shivambu left the economic field of fighters to join the MK Party last year, it shocked all the sons, including his former ally and Siamese twin Julius Malema, who had famously declared to all the Uncle Floyd to be part of delegations to see him off should he die. At the time, we warned in a column that the Floyd Shivambu MK alliance could spell the end of the MKP EFF led progressive caucus, in which we were right. And the events of the past 9 months have proved devastating for the so-called progressive left, with little unity between the two main parties, the MKP and the EFF. When Shivambu was appointed national organizer of the MK Party, the honest politician as Zuma described him upon joining from the EFF, denouncing smaller parties, characterizing them as fiefdom of individuals. And Tagari, what were talking along those lines. At the time, his remarks were aimed at EFF Julius Malema, but he careful to state that it wasn't, instead pointing to the United Democratic Movement of Bantu Olomis and Inkatha Freedom Party, formerly of the late Mangosuthu Buthelezi. But Malema, Olomis and Buthelezi, aside MKP, is also Zuma's little fiefdom, run in the image and disguise of Zuma's wishes and perhaps those of his daughter Duduzi. The MKP has shown in character and the manifestation chaos around it that it is exactly that too, Zuma pleaded for the time for the party during an hour-long speech, and he asserted yet again that people would be fired should they not perform. And Shivambu and many others have been fired in the past year, as Zuma still has the ultimate powers to hire and fire as he pleases. Yo, are the guys obsessed with power? This Zuma guy. With Makasela Mzobe as the head of the president at the private office of the president Zuma, Shivambu has an ally in the former ANC Youth League leaders who can do some of his bidding for him. But unlike Mzobe, there are hundreds of more around the MKP party leadership who are far less sympathetic and who have little appreciation for Shivambu and his Marxist virtues. For Floyd, it is now time to sink or swim in the murky waters of MK party politics. What happened next from Parliament can be sustained or political clarity and redeployed if he brings about much needed fuel in that MK party Parliament caucus. However, if it does not hit the ground, it could spell the beginning of a violent end of Shivambu's best decision ever at the MK party. Time will tell. Alright, guys. Floyd made the worst decision now of his political career. If he was not happy at the EFF, he should have left and opened his political party with him and his Dr. Boysen Ndlozi. At least they could have 2%, 3% yan and not report to other people. With the wealth of experience in politics, when you still want to report to other people, Floyd, get out of the MK party, Baba, and open your own political party. And vote Ndlozi to be your debut. And thank me later. See you on the next video, Buffett. This is your boy Sim TV. I'm off.